me know when it's on. Hello, good evening, Malaysia, Asia, and across the globe. Welcome to another Facebook chat with Chunwai. And tonight we have a very special guest. His name is Bryan Loo. He's really an interesting entrepreneur with a multi-million ringgit industry in the food and beverages industry. He will share with us how he has successfully brought in the bubble tea business to Malaysia. He was the pioneer in Malaysia, and now he's really literally blazing across ASEAN with his own brand. And tonight, we will listen to Bryan how he started in this business. Bryan, the ball is yours. Let's hit it on.
First of all, I think thanks to Chunwai, without Chunwai, I wouldn't be able to be here to share some of my stories to all the audience out there. So I started very humbly about 10 years ago with a very simple vision, which is just to modernize our long-standing grassroots tea drinking cultures called Yam Cha into a widely accessible lifestyle tea drinking cultures today, starting off with a brand. So I think fast forward today, I think TLife is the pioneer in our industry and also the largest lifestyle tea company in Malaysia, if not Southeast Asia. TLife is 3 years old. After we move on and change from our previous brand to the new one, we have got about close to 550 stores in Malaysia, together with 6 other markets, employing more than 2,000 young people, serving more than 5 million customers monthly. So I think a bit of background before COVID is we used to expand about 200 stores last year. That was just before COVID lockdown. So the entire company structure was built in a way to support such exponential growth. We have a strong shared resource company to support the aggressive vision. I think the pandemic literally put on hold all the expansion plan, not just local, but more importantly, all the regional plan. And so to be able to sustain our manpower without imposing all the redundancy, I think we have every single reason to be motivated, to pivot, and to evolve our business model into all different other business funnel in order to protect the livelihood of our people.
Bryan, I have this question from a follower. This person asked, how has TLife expand to ASEAN, and how did you manage to withstand some of the challenges because of COVID-19?
Yeah, so I think we are also part of the victim of these global pandemic situations where, no one gets fed. Global expansion has remained super challenging for us. And in fact, it came to a point where we started to revise what is our vision look like, going forward. Is global expansion still possible for us? And I think it's not going to be straightforward. And instead of looking that as a global expansion, we changed our vision to be the South Asia leading lifestyle tea brand, not just in retail, but in a FMCG, which is fast-moving consumer good market by year 2021. So I think we want to reimagine that global expansion will be very different going forward. It's not about traveling, it's not about putting a physical store on the other side of the world. And how do we expand and move our TLife branded FMCG product to global? So I think this is what we are in the planning, we're trying to do now. And I think there are many things that we put in place. I think it tested a lot of leadership action during the COVID period. What we did right is we actually managed to instill a sense of urgency and positivity to our team. We encourage our guys to keep the spirit high and try to navigate through the unknown and keep scouting for the next breakthrough idea. So leading to that never give up effort, we managed to pivot into a lot of different initiatives, e-commerce driven initiatives during MCO, pioneering our flagship projects called My Bubble Tea Ticket for customers who look out for fun activity at home, both local and international markets. So that time, that project garnered a lot of media attentions. We get to not just selling the bubble tea kit to local markets, we export that out to international markets like Australia, Myanmar, Vietnam, and etc. So from the taste of the first success initiative, we then went into not less than 20 new initiatives or innovations, including growing, extending our product into FMCG industry, scaling up our virtual kitchen model, strengthening our online training module to upskill our people. I think the spirit of keep hunting for small win help us to get through the headwind stronger and leaner. So all the small win, I think we have strived really during the lockdown period, turned out to be the greatest attempt of all time. I think entrepreneurship, we do acknowledge it's going to be a long-term marathon. And then the key to the victory is all about the pace. Being the leader in the company, I think we have to act as a cheerleader during this pandemic period of time where the mood is down, the spirit is down. We need to push everyone in our team to keep up the right pace, just so that we could sprint and slow down easily, dealing with all different kinds of situations. Yeah, I think that's all we do.
Right, you know that during the products
brands. It spanned through across casual dining, Yun Sichuan noodle, Yun rich noodle, just pasta, defy food, chicken rice brand called Kokokai. So I think what we learned during MCO period is people want to experience something where they can make it at home. They want to DIY stuff at home because they got time, rather than, you know, they wanted to cook something from scratch. They want to look at things like reassemble cooking stuff. So I think Kokokai, where we started to sell the full chicken and we allow our customer to now chop it at home. That campaign is called Chop It Yourself. People get to experience the real spirit of the hawker store, where they get to chop the chicken, experience it. We give an instruction card to them to teach them how to poach the chicken and all this. I think that turned out to be quite fun. I think people are enjoying it at home, taking it as a different kind of customer experience. We do that because we feel that, you know, in this lockdown period, I think fun is the most critical stuff. A part of being a typical brick and mortar business model, we ask ourselves, how can we use our brand to make our consumer lifestyle a bit fun and not so boring? So we start to put in a lot of DIY mindset towards all the innovation we put around the brand. I think it turned out well. We engaged with our customer better, and then that really helps us to build different brand relationship with our customer.
I thought that the chicken rice, as in all chicken rice, the rice must be good, and the chili was really superb. Well done, Bryan. We have people signing in from Melbourne, your second hometown. Chong Kai Wai, thank you for signing in. Mark Westwood. We have someone from Fauzia from Taobao. So we have people from around the world. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Right? Okay, I just want to go back to ASEAN because we have a lot of people from ASEAN who's following this Facebook live chat.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the places in ASEAN where you have been really strong, and what are the countries you have now parked yourself in? Besides ASEAN, I understand you're also in China, am I correct? And UK.
Yeah. So I think there's two sides of it. You know, there's a pre-COVID side and there's after COVID, right? So I think we are still at an infancy stage when it comes to global expansion. We are now in 7 markets. We're in Myanmar, Brunei, Australia, Vietnam, China, UK, and Philippines. So total 7 markets. So why quoted as an infancy stage is because when you come to retail brand like ours, right, we still got to nurture the store 1 store at a time. We still got to expand the store 1 store at a time. So I think during COVID period, we have no choice but to halt all our expansion plan in the region, purely because there's so much uncontrollable. We could not travel. Some of our key personnel could not travel to the other side of the world. And there was a lot of lacking of enough support to technically push for further expansion. So I think we have quite a bit of heat on Vietnam.
Okay.
The reason being is because we, at the peak last year, we are about 16 outlets. So today we are about 10 outlets. There was 6 outlets that we have between the Vietnam airport have no choice but to cease their operations. Yeah, I think that's also being a big victim of this COVID pandemic. But I think what is exciting is our Myanmar market. So Myanmar is exciting because of our partnership with UOB Bank. So what we did is we managed to strike through a strategic partnership with one of the largest local brand called UOB. So what we did is we actually managed to came into agreement to integrate TLife into brand branches throughout nationwide. So that will be a very exciting project that we're looking in. We believe through that strategic partnership, we are able to push TLife into much more wider expansion plan into different states and smaller towns throughout Myanmar. So I think we just started our first integration with UOB Bank last month, despite it was still during the lockdown period. And I think we're looking forward to deliver another 5 more stores by end of the year. So I think the total UOB has got about slightly more than 100 bank branches throughout the whole entire Myanmar. And our goal is to really grow at each and every bank branches together with them. So I think that it will be an exciting plan for us, for Myanmar, and while we are striving for expansion in other areas as well.
Bryan, you know that you have been the pioneer in this business in Malaysia. You started off, of course, with a brand from Taiwan. Then you created your own brand. And since then, there has been so many competitors with all kinds of names. But they started off very well. And then it just ends there. They close shop. Yep. Why have you been able to sustain your product while others have lost out? What's the secret?
So I don't think that, you know, we are smarter than other people. It's just that I think the only thing that we consider ourselves slightly different is because we really has got a purpose behind what we do. So I think our purpose is very different from people. I think we are here not to create a trend. Since day one when we are here to create a long-term, long-lasting, modern tea drinking cultures anywhere we can plug our stores. So I think for many years, since a decade ago, when we start building our brand, building the career in Malaysia, we really want to take tea to the next level. We wanted to nurture the modern tea drinking cultures and lifestyle anywhere we planted our stores. So I think that is our entire vision. And every day when we move ahead, it makes our vision get clearer and clearer, because we are not here to create a trend. We are here to really looking out at how do we evolve our model just so that we can create a long-lasting culture, a modern tea drinking cultures. And another side of it is because when you look at all other bubble tea brands out there in maybe local or regional, a lot of our peers are very focusing in franchise model.
Yeah.
But when you look at our model, we are very, very focused in corporate expansion. We very focused in corporate store expansion, because we believe that when we look back at history in Malaysia per se, you know, any brand that lasts through 2 decades, 3 decades, right? There are really no other brand like McDonald's, Starbucks, KFC, and why? There must be a reason behind that. And when you drill deeper in, you realize that all the bigger brands are running it like a corporate stores. Yeah. They hardly franchise it. And that was a way where they can really protect the business model and really control on the quality services, and it really align whatever expansion plan to much more longer mission that they want to cultivate in this part of the world. So I think what we're learning from the best in the industry is we wanted to keep a good balance of franchise and corporate stores. And we always want to make sure that our corporate store is more than our franchise store, so that we have enough resources to support our franchisee. So I think over the years, that formula have safeguarded our position in the market, being a market leader. And that also gives us a very strong position to give 100% support to all the franchisees that's on board with us. So if you are a franchisee, you'll feel secure, because the brand owner technically owns more store than I do. Yes. The brand owner will not let anything happen to the brand. It's because they will do whatever it takes to protect the brand interests. So I think that reversely give a lot of confidence to our business partner, our franchisee in the region. And together, you know, I think we are heading into the right directions.
Bryan, having said that, back to the question of popularity, does the costing and ingredients, are they important? Like, for example, the type of milk that is used, yep, and the costing that is involved. And of course, I know that your company, Loop Holdings, does a lot of R&D. So you introduce a lot of new elements and new products to, yep, the market, while perhaps that the other stores may be selling the same products. I know what I'm talking about because I actually drink. Okay.
Thanks,
okay.
Bro.
So tell me that how does your R&D, what kind of research do they do to add on new elements to it to keep the business exciting?
So I think there's two parts of it. I think we are still operating majority of our business in this part of the world, Malaysia. So I think that's always about keeping ourselves really aware on what are the global drink trend. I think that's when we keep ourselves really in touch with global drinking trend, we will always wanted to be ahead of the curve. But while we are ahead of the curve, we have to be realistic on, you know, what could we offer in the local market to keep our product really localized to our local audience. So I think over the years, what we practice is we launched 7 times product launch. Out of the 7 times product launch, there's 3 times talking about localization program. which means that we collaborate with people like Horlicks. We just launched hot from the oven yesterday. Wow. Is our first isotonic bubble tea in collaboration with 100 Plus. So I think we always threshold the localization part because we feel that the only way to make the brand stronger is so that the brand are very closer to the local audience. Yeah. So every time when we travel to China, when we travel to Vietnam, to Australia, we actually localize our product based on different customer base as well. So when we are in Australia, we try to focus in yogurt drinks. Okay. So when we are in Vietnam, we try to focus and skill a bit towards the Vietnam coffee area. So it could resonate to the local audience. But I think it has got to be a very good balancing of not overly localize it so that people still resonate the brand as an international brand. So I think there's always the art of balancing of whether are we doing enough to keep the brand exciting or are we doing enough to keep the brand as local as possible. So I think this is what we have been doing is creating a balancing menu where it's still a local brand that internationally appeal. So I think that's the art of balancing.
Right, I understand that if I pronounce this correctly, yeah. You're a franchise holder for this Spanish brand for yogurt called Yao Yao, right?
Used to.
Okay, yeah. But they're still parked next to your TLife.
Yes, I think that's basically based on our previous history. Okay. We divested the investment for Yao Yao about when we got about 35 outlets about 1 year ago. Today, if you ever ask me, I think it was the biggest regret we did in our life. Okay. But exciting. We love the brand and it was extraordinary products. It's a product that can fly.
You said you regretted it. Why did you regret it?
First of all, I think we love the product. Mm-hmm. And second thing, it is a category of one. So when you look at the market, there is no direct competition for Yao Yao frozen yogurt. Okay. But on our industry, when you look at bubble tea, it's tons, right? When you look at coffee, tons. When you look at other ice cream, you got plenty of players. But when you look at frozen yogurt, I think Yao Yao is technically a first of, one of a kind industry. So it was at a very lucky position. If we're able to scale it well, I'm sure that, Yao Yao has got a potential to get up to 200 stores in the country. Mm. Yeah.
Okay, speaking of trends, you talk about healthy drink, okay? Like for me, I'm on the borderline. My sugar level is borderline. I like to think it's borderline. Okay? I have this craving for your drinks, okay? But I still need to control and take care of myself, okay? So how do you measure and sort of like offer to customers like me who cares about sugar level? How do you handle it?
So I think that's a lot of people in the industry may not aware that, when we first entered the market, we already offered a sugar customizations level for our customer. So today our customer can choose from 0% to 30, 50, 70 to 100 and even extra sugar 110.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think what we allow our customer is all about made to order. Made to order, which means that, our customer can actually ask and request the sugar level that they're comfortable about. And, if I think that, I just want to have half sugar, I'll go for half sugar. If I think that, I would just want to go for slight sugar, I can go for slight sugar. But on top, I think this is what we try to educate our customer, that they always can tailor-make the sugar level based on their own preference. That's number one. Number two, we also launched this called TLife Plus. TLife Plus is on-the-go supplement boosters, which means that, a part of people drinking their typical, the favorite, collagen, antioxidant, things like vegetable fiber, energy pack. So we allow that to happen is because we feel that, regardless of what we travel industry, I think people are getting more and more concerned about the healthy. Yeah. And over the time, I think people will be a bit more demanding when it comes to healthy products. People want to say that, if I want to have a bang bang pearl milk tea, I want to have bang bang pearl milk tea with oat milk. I want to have it soy milk. So I think that's a more alternative option that is coming up. So I think that's what we're trying to do to cater the global audience or the local audience that's heading for healthy perception.
How has this new availability taken off? Are they popular?
I think everything has got to do with health or healthy perspective. It needs education. It needed the education phase. So I think what we reckon in this part of the world, especially in Malaysia, I think they are a niche customer base who's really constantly seeking out for healthy product, but we still have a majority base which is very. So I think we always wanted to be able to strive a balance of a considering brand where we love general every one of our customer base. If they concerned about healthy, this is the product we could cater. If they always love their indulgent products, this is the range of product we can offer. So I think this is what we've been doing over the years, and it's all about art of balancing. Are we getting there yet? I think it's a decade or journey of getting it right. I think we constantly in the trying mode. I think a lot of product has got a lot of education kicks in. I think what we did well is we embraced all sort of customer base because we feel that any customer base inspired us to get better, inspired us to continue to launch a product that relevant to the local needs. So I think going forward, there are exciting alternative options coming up. I couldn't share more, but,
okay.
but you'll see more on the first quarter next year.
Okay. How has your public listing efforts been because of this COVID affected the planning? That's one. Second thing is that you mentioned about trying to making sure that you protect the brand. So I hear people telling me, I could be wrong, people telling me that it's really difficult to get a franchise with Bryan Loo because he makes sure that it is given out to only his close friends, his family members, so that Bryan Loo is really in control of the business and nobody else. How true is that?
So I think over the years, I think today we have about 540 outlets. I think we should be acknowledged that, you know, we have enough footprint. Our future expansion has to be very cautious so that we don't cannibalize each other, so that we can highly operator in the business, not just entirely about financial that they can provide, but more so are they putting their own effort in managing the business. I think over the years, for the last 5 years, our curations towards our franchisee become much more stringent. Our curations towards our franchisee is much more stringent in the way that we wanted our franchisee to fully involve in the business as the first criteria, rather than they could be financially affordable. They could be financially afford for such a business model. So I think we always been choosing who's going to give in the absolute effort in nurture the brand versus who can pay for the business model. I think today, when we look back on the 5 years journey of being so strict in choosing the right franchisee, I think we did a right decision of not just looking for who can pay for the business model, but who really love what they do and has got a shared and aligned vision of what we're trying to grow the brand or nurturing the brand towards building a right modern tea and cultures for local markets. So I think that part has, we still have a lot of calling the company, calling my family, calling myself, asking for franchise. I think we a bit more selective these days because we feel that, you know, we wanted to be selective so that we can be long-term in this market. And we wanted to be selective so that we can recruit like-minded individuals who believe in our brand and continue to grow the brand together. So I think coming back to IPO, we actually postponed our IPO. To be fair, we feel that, you know, we could not see what's right ahead of us. I think there was so much uncertainty about this pandemic, about this operating environment in Malaysia. So I think what we are comfortable about is we want to buy ourselves 1 more year.
Okay.
We want to buy ourselves 1 more year to have a bit more options on when it comes to corporate exercise. I think we want to have a bit more clarity on because at the end of the day, Chunwai, when you look at we are in this journey for 10 years, if we ever want to make it right for one time, we can wait. I think I've always been talking to the family and all this. We have been waited 1 decade for this day. I think we can wait for another 1 year to just make sure that we have enough correct foundations. So when we get up to markets, that we are much more ready. We are much more ready to take care of our shareholders. We are much more ready to really put the company to the next level, leveraging on, you know, the IPO process and all this. So I think we're still being a bit more patient and hopefully, you know, it's part of our dream. We want to bring the company to public, and we hope that by bringing a commitment to bring the brand to next level, and then, you know, eventually share the outcome together with all the shareholders.
Brian, in terms of revenue for Loop Holding, how many % of your revenue comes from bubble tea?
Today, as of now, I think about 90%.
But that's very high. Eh?
Yeah, that's very high.
So in terms of wanting to have other options and other revenue earning segments, what would you be looking at?
So I think the immediate part of the business that we're looking in terms of verticals is we are venturing into upstream. So we are building one of the largest fully automated pearl manufacturing plant in the country, which is supposed to be commenced on second quarter this year. But we have no choice, you know, it was part of a joint venture project with our China partners to build the fully automated pearl manufacturing plant. So we are delaying that plant commencement till end of the year. So I think we have this strong aspiration where we want to make pearl the next staple ingredients for every household. We want to inspire a lot of households to start cooking pearl at home, like how they cook sago, how they cook red bean for the dessert, but we want them to cook pearl going forward. So I think what we wanted to do is not just make sure that the plant are able to support and supply to all our network of stores. We want to make sure that, you know, pearl will eventually become an FMCG product, start featuring in supermarkets, convenience chain, bakery chain. So I think people can now access to pearl as part of their daily staple ingredient. So I think that's our aspiration. And another part of it is we have expand a couple other brands, a virtual brand during this COVID period. And it was one of the breakthrough model that we've done. So so it was our aspirations to become the largest and fastest growing virtual coffee brand in the country. So we used to have 7 physical stores before the MCO lockdown. During MCO, I think we decided to launch it into a virtual coffee brand and expand the brand across all the TLife network nationwide. So it was a brand that's fully powered by delivery platform. We are the pioneer in this disruptive retail model, fully in line to cope with the new normal ever-changing landscape. So I think with the additional saving on the capex, we are now ready to offer premium specialty coffee at much more affordable price to Malaysian audience. So we expanded about 70 locations in 4 key cities as of today, with a pipeline of reaching to 100 locations by end of 2020. So I think we're also hoping that because it's virtual, it attach and integrate into current TLife network. So the speed of expansion could be doubled of what TLife could be. So we're looking at, you know, if we can expand up to 300 to 400 locations by 2021, I think that would be our pipeline looking at. So I think, so why Buzz Bear Coffee? I think Buzz Bear Coffee is inspired by Malaysian sun bear. So we wanted to use the brand to raise the awareness on the endangered species sun bear in Borneo. So we work hand in hand with this body called BSBCC, which is Borneo Sun Bear Conservation Center, to support their conservation effort. So we raised the brand as Buzz Bear Coffee is because we really wanted to build a purpose behind the brand. We didn't want to be just another coffee brand. We want to be a brand that could offer affordable coffee to Malaysian and also supporting for a good cause. So it was the first of its kind breakthrough model. We're very exciting. It take off very well. So we hope that, you know, we can spin off and ramp up the expansion for Buzz Bear Coffee in the country. And then hopefully coffee will be our next biggest venture. Yeah.
Right. I noticed that when I went to your store this afternoon, I noticed that you introduced bubble tea mooncake. Is this the first time you have done it? And second question is that when a certain drinks that you have, or it does not sort of like resonate with your customers, do you take it off?
Yeah. Okay. So I think our biggest motivation of going beyond drinks is this iconic collaboration that we did during the MCO, which is the collaboration with Wall's Ice Cream. So I think from Wall's Ice Cream collaboration, it's our very first time that we stretch our product beyond the drinks. It's our first non-drinks product collaboration that did a runaway success. So from that runaway success, we realized that TLife had built a strong brand equity and a reputation in the market that allows the brand to now stretching into different FMCG products. Things like ice cream, things like mooncake, things like bakery, things like TLife Eats. So I think what we're going forward will be very different from what we're doing before that. We want to go beyond what we offer. So when you look at TLife tagline, right, is TLife always more than tea. So always more than tea is our mantra. We want to make sure that, you know, we are a tea player, but our offer limited by just drinks. We want to offer TLife in an ice cream format. We want to offer TLife in a mooncake format. we want to offer TLife in a bakery format that come in tea flavors. So I think that's the aspiration of how we wanted to stretch the brand going forward. That's one part of it. I think another part where is talking back at the menu. Every year, we launch 7 new product series that came out to be about 15 SKU. When we circulate 15 SKU into our menu, we will streamline the non-performing product out. So we took another 15% of our product out from the menu to circulate it. So I think what we learned throughout the year is we always circulate out the non-performing part and allow new innovation to seep into the menu. So I think what we did very successful this year, this past financial year, is our Hojicha. Hojicha has been always perceived as the premium Japanese ingredient. So when we launched it, we knew that, it's got to be an education phases because a lot of people may not know what's Hojicha. People know matcha, but people may not know Hojicha. But to our surprise, Hojicha has been doing very well. So there will be a critical product that will circulate back to our main menu to become a permanent menu. So while we circulate on the menu, at the same time, we are circulating out some of the non-performing products in the menu so that we keep the product vibrant. And every time when customer came to our store, every single year, they find the menu to be very different. Yeah.
Bryan, you talk about innovation in food. I've been going to your restaurant called Define in Mid Valley. I think it's really good because that many of us try this so-called fusion food. And we've been Asian, sometimes we're very particular about fusion. It comes out really terrible sometimes, fusion. But yours, you have done it well. Why did you start Define the restaurant?
So I think we have went very wide in terms of F&B. We went from bar to casual dining to quick service to drinks to noodle to everything else. And then now at this position, we started to realize what we are good at and what we are not good at. So I think we came a long way of hitting a lot of wall, doing the wrong thing, to finally come back on things that we're quite good at. So we recognize that, anything has got to do with alcohol, we're just not good at it. We're just bad, right? But we realize that we have a strength in a quick service model where, things that are simple, things that could be fully or semi-automated. So I think casual dining, Define Food is one of our baby. It's one of our baby. Are we good at it? I think we will say that we are not good at it. We are just good in making sure that restaurant run well. But why over the last 3 years we are not able to scale the business? Because we realize we have got a bottleneck in looking for the right chef. We are the bottleneck of looking for or building a chef team. I think whatever has got to do with chef, we are not good at it. We are good at maintaining the business, maintaining our chef team, doing a great job in one outlet, but we may not good at scaling Define Food to 10 restaurants, 50 restaurants, because we realize that to manage chef can be very different. But on the other side of the world, when we look at things like, TLife, Gindako, Buzz Bear Coffee, Yao Yao previously, all these are small and nimble, highly flexible business model that is fully automated. They are all fully automated. And when it comes to quality, it can be easily mitigated because it doesn't involve in human error. It doesn't require our staff to remember a lot of cooking technique, procedure. So I think we like that model because it helps us to grow our portfolio quicker and much more efficient without a lot of headache when it comes to quality assurance. So I think today we come to a point to say that, we want to look at only 3 DNA when we wanted to select for brand. Number 1, the product itself has got to be a fast-moving product, highly affordable, number 1. Number 2, the business model has to be highly flexible, whereby the rental is cheap, we go big size. Rental expensive, we go small size. Highly flexible is never being restricted by rental. That's number 2. Thirdly, it has got to be fully automated. If not, you have to be semi-automated so that we are not restricted by human error. We are not always being concerned about quality, expanding our stores. So I think these 3 DNA become a selection for us going forward to select the right brand or the right business model that we want to involve ourselves. So I think over the years, we become clearer and clearer.
Right. Why do you think that this bubble tea culture is very Asian and that it does not seem to go beyond Asians? Why is it that you think that, for example, Caucasians find it difficult to accept this tea drinking culture, especially bubble tea?
So I think that there's a few things towards what's bubble tea. So bubble tea is also a beverages. So what's so special about bubble tea is because it was a drinks with a topping. That is the nature and DNA of bubble tea. So I think what the Caucasians or the Westerner are not used to it is to have a drinks that has got ingredients inside the drinks. So I think that's the education phase where they try to get familiarized with, you know, they are very comfortable with coffee and tea drinks, but no toppings, nothing inside the drinks. So I think that's their comfort zone. But over the years, I think thanks to the exponential growth of bubble tea around the world, there's a lot of uptake from Western interests. We can see that, you know, today bubble tea is appealing in every single corner of the world. You can find bubble tea all the way to Hungary. You can find bubble tea all the way to Middle Eastern. So I think the spread is there, but it needed a different level of education to allow the consumer to start buying in the drinks that technically has got a chewing sensation of it. So I think that's the part of our role when it comes to education. So when we talk about modern tea drinking cultures, it's not so much about the typical chamomile, the typical, I don't know, the typical teh tarik, but it's talking about how do we make tea more fun? How do we make tea more innovative, whereby all the tea beverages has got the ingredients complement the drinking sensation. So I think this is what part of our, that form part of our R&D thought process as well.
Right. You use a lot of social media and a lot of personal branding in your push in talking about your products, in talking about your company. Can you share with us some of this social? You're one of the biggest. You have one of the biggest followers in town. Okay, you're actually people actually pay you to be an influencer. Can you share with us how you have utilized this platform so effectively?
So I think looking back at the history, Chun Wai, a decade ago, 10 years ago, when we first created the brand and started creating our career, we didn't have much financial support. So we just have enough funding to put out the first store, and the funding came from the parents. And I still remember that time, we didn't have access funding to do marketing. We didn't access marketing to slap our branding on the newspaper, to put it on TV screens, to either put it on billboard or anything else that costs a marketing cost. So what we did correctly during that time is we leveraged 100% on social media.
Yes.
So I was a great testament on seeing how do we use social media to grow our career, to become that built as a DNA of the brand success. So I think we witnessed that journey, and that has given me a big inspiration of why would I not able to leverage on social media and tell people a story about what we wanted to do in our life. Or we wanted to tell a story about how do we do a brand building in our life, in our journey. So I think over the years, we managed to showcase that journey to our audience or to our followers. I think people today buying the products, they are not just merely buying the products. They buy into the story behind the products. They buy into the soul behind the products. I think we over the years, we recognize that, you know, we did something right. We managed to build an emotional behind the products. Yeah. People understand the products. People knew that, you know, there was plenty of group, but people supported us because they feel that it was the brand that they've grown up together when it comes to story. It was the brand that, you know, it came from hardship. We've been through a hardship 3 years ago to change from previous brand to a new brand, and everyone in this country saw it. They resonate to the brand spirit. They understand the root of the brand. So I think over the years, we showcase the brand story, and eventually it really bring the brand closer to our customer. And we knew that today our customers are not coming just for the product. They're coming to support the Malaysian brand. They're coming to support innovation. They're coming to support our story of entrepreneurship. So I think that is a great take home for ourselves. And even today, I feel that, you know, social media is so powerful. It was such a great storytelling platform. If we use it well, it created a lot of impact to the community. If we use it wrong, it also created a wrong impact to the community as well. Yes. So I think we wanted to do it right, and we want to make sure that, you know, we can use that social media to do the right.
You know, Bryan, that as we have this discussion, I've seen your brand grow up. I've seen your branding grow. I think that we are truly proud that as a Malaysian brand, we have done very well globally.
Thank you.
What will be your vision and the steps forward in taking this Malaysian brand to a greater height?
So I think going back to the vision that we built on the first day is unchanged. It's still the same vision, which is to take tea to the next level by nurturing the modern tea drinking cultures. Lifestyle globally, one country, one neighborhood, one community at a time. I think this is the simple vision that we want to do. And we wanted to make sure that, you know, every day, whatever we do is stack up and make that vision clearer and clearer. Mm-hmm. So I think, thank God, today became a long journey to finally cultivate bubble tea as part of people's daily lifestyle. And today, if you look at the news, McDonald's is about to launch bubble tea tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That will be another exciting story in you know, we look at it as an achievement. We look at it as a, you know, as it's 1 decade journey. When we look back, it feel what a ride, you know, what an exciting ride that what have we done right to bring us all the way to today. I think the only thing that we've done right is because we never pivot when we come to vision. We always stay clear with our vision. It's not to create trend, but it's more so of creating the modern tea drinking cultures anywhere we grow our stores. That simple.
Thank you, Bryan, for spending time with us.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you sharing your thoughts, sharing your plans, your vision, your mistakes, and that it's really a fantastic discussion. To Malaysians who have joined us tonight, thank you. For followers from around the world, please stay with us. Join me again in the coming weeks. We have plenty of discussions and plenty of entrepreneurs who will share their secrets with us. Thank you again, Bryan. And to Malaysians who follow us, take care.
Thank you,
Good
guys.
night.
Thank you.
And drink this.
Thanks,
Bryan, I'm sending the bill to you, okay? For this endorsement of the product.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, man.
Okay.